In a quiet meadow, far from the busy roads and noise of the towns, there lived a small bird with feathers of soft brown and white. She was not the brightest bird of the sky, nor the swiftest in flight, but she carried a gift unlike any other. Her voice was warm and gentle, and every morning when the world still rested in silence, she would lift her head and sing. Her song floated across the meadow like golden threads in the dawn air, weaving peace into the hearts of all who heard it. The villagers nearby grew to love her melody. At the break of day, when the first light spilled gently across their fields, her voice rose above the silence, reminding them that life, no matter how simple or small, was filled with beauty. For many, her song was like a prayer. It was not a loud call, nor a grand performance. It was soft, tender, and filled with sincerity. It reminded them that even the smallest creatures could bring joy, and that every voice, no matter how humble, had the power to touch the world. But one evening, when the sun dipped low and shadows stretched long across the fields, the peace of the meadow was broken. Dark clouds rolled in, and the air grew heavy. The gentle bird, who so often danced in the calm breezes of dawn, found herself caught in a storm fiercer than she had ever known. A violent wind swept through the meadow, twisting the tall grasses and bending the trees. She tried to fly, tried to push her wings against the rushing gusts, but the wind was merciless. A sudden blast struck her side, sending her tumbling downward, helpless. She hit the ground hard, and when she tried to rise, pain shot through her body. Her wing bent awkwardly beneath her, broken. The sharp sting of pain was nothing compared to the hollow ache in her heart, the fear that she might never feel the sky again. She struggled, desperate to lift herself, but every movement brought agony. For the first time in her life, the sky seemed impossibly far. Days passed. The little bird lay hidden in the tall grass, unable to soar with her companions. Each morning when the sun rose, she heard their calls overhead, the rush of their wings as they chased the sky. Some flew close, circling to see her, calling out in voices filled with confusion. But when she could not answer, when she could not join them, they moved on, as birds must. For the sky waits for no one. And so she remained, alone, wounded, and afraid, listening to the world move on without her. Yet not all was lost. One morning, when the air was cool and the dew sparkled on the grass, an old farmer walked across the meadow. His steps were slow, steady, guided by years of tending the earth. His eyes caught a flicker of movement in the grass nearby. There, trembling and weak, was the little bird. Her wing hung crooked, her feathers ruffled with exhaustion. He knelt, reaching out with weathered hands, and instead of leaving her to fate, he gathered her gently. He carried her back to his cottage, a simple wooden home at the edge of the meadow. Inside he found a small cage, not a prison, but a shelter. He placed her by the window. Golden sunlight poured in. He set seeds before her and filled a dish with water. At first the bird resisted. She longed for the vast open sky, for the wind brushing her feathers. The cage felt confining, unfair. She pecked at the bars, restless and afraid. But the farmer spoke to her in quiet tones, his voice steady and kind. "Healing takes time," he told her. "Freedom must sometimes wait." The days stretched into weeks. The bird's wing, though fragile, began to mend little by little. Each morning she tested it, lifting it slightly, opening it a fraction more. Some days brought progress, and hope stirred in her chest. Other days pain returned, sharp and unrelenting, and despair whispered she might never rise again. But whenever she faltered, she remembered the farmer's words. "Healing is not a race. Strength grows quietly." Those words became her anchor. Then one afternoon, as sunlight poured through the window and the farmer sat carving a piece of wood, something happened. The bird, whose voice had been silent for so long, opened her beak. A note, faint at first, slipped into the air. Then another. Slowly, gently, she began to sing again, her voice trembling. Her song was different now. Softer, gentler, touched by the weight of all she had endured. It was not just the song of dawn anymore. It was the song of survival. It carried sorrow and pain, but also courage, resilience, and quiet hope. The farmer paused his carving and closed his eyes, letting the melody wash over him. In that song he felt his own burdens lift, and peace entered his heart. Weeks turned into more. The little bird's strength returned. Her wing, though marked by scars, grew strong enough to carry her once more. One clear morning the farmer carried the cage outside. He set it on the grass and opened the door. The bird looked out at the endless sky, the place she had once feared she would never touch again. Her heart trembled with longing and fear. Could she truly fly again? She hesitated. The open sky seemed vast, almost overwhelming. But then she remembered the warmth of the sun, the kindness of the farmer, and the strength she had slowly built. She spread her wings. They were not as strong as before. They bore the mark of her fall. But they were hers, and they were enough. With a deep breath she leapt forward. At first her flight was shaky, uncertain. The air resisted her, and her body wavered. But as the wind lifted beneath her wings, balance returned. Higher she rose, unsteady but determined. Higher still, until the meadow below looked small once more. Her friends returned, circling around her with joy. But she no longer flew recklessly. She did not chase the wind without thought anymore. She flew with care now, with gratitude, savoring every beat of her wings, every breath of the open air. When she landed on the highest branch of a tree, she lifted her head and sang. Her song was richer now, filled with wisdom. It was not only a song of beauty, but of courage, patience, and hope. It told of pain endured, of fear overcome, of brokenness that had been mended. From that day forward, whenever the villagers heard her song, they felt something stir within them. They heard not just music, but a message. They felt peace in their struggles, courage in their wounds, and hope in their waiting. For the bird with the broken wing had returned to the sky, and in her survival they saw themselves reflected. Their own stories hidden in her voice. And so, dear listener, this story is not only hers, it belongs to you as well. Perhaps you too have felt broken by loss, by failure, by disappointment, or by the heavy weight of life itself. Perhaps there are days when the sky feels far away, and you wonder if you will ever rise again. Remember this: healing takes time. Strength grows quietly, in silence, in stillness, in waiting. Even when you feel grounded, unable to move, your spirit can still sing. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself as that little bird. See your brokenness not as an ending, but as a pause, a time for rest, a time for healing. Feel the sunlight on your face, warm and steady, reminding you that light remains, even in the midst of pain. And when the time is right, you will rise again. Not the same as before, but stronger, wiser, and more grateful for the sky. Your scars will not weaken you. They will deepen your song. Your pauses will not mark failure. They will prepare you for flight. And your brokenness, once healed, will become your greatest strength, because you will know what it means to fall, and what it means to rise again, higher than before. So tonight, as you lay down to rest, let this story comfort you. Like the bird with the broken wing, you too will heal. You too will rise. And when you do, your song will carry peace not only to your own heart, but to everyone who hears it. For in your survival, others will find courage. And in your flight they will discover hope, shining brightly like dawn over the meadow.